John, I think about ultimate reality in different ways, and I talk to people who are very smart, many of them physicists, some philosophers, about what is ultimate reality. What can we say? As limited we are as human beings, it's remarkable how much we know. And one of the answers that keeps coming back is chance. That seems bizarre in a way, that all the order we see is chance, but it's a legitimate position, right?
The view that the universe is a matter of chance, that it actually came into existence through chance, has been pushed by some major physicists, and they have been influenced by quantum physics, where it seems that many events, according to the majority of physicists, just happen without there being any particular reason why they happen precisely when they do. And one of the things coming out of these discussions is that perhaps the whole universe popped into existence by chance because it didn't cost any energy. And that view was originally brought forward by a guy called Edward Tryon. And when it was first published, people looked at the date and said, "Is this April the 1st?" But he took it very seriously, and he pointed out that it's standard cosmology to say that any universe which has a space which comes around and closes up with itself, so it's a self-enclosed universe, has zero total energy. And if it has zero total energy, it could come into existence without getting into any energy problems. This view about the origin of the universe has been taken up by Alex Vilenkin, Lawrence Krauss, Stephen Hawking. And in one way of developing it, they say the universe came into existence with nothing before it to explain it, and costing nothing in energy, and this means that the problem of existence has vanished. Another way of looking on the thing is to say that the laws of physics are real somehow before the universe exists, and they demand the existence of a universe with high probability. That the idea that time could be ticking away infinitely and the universe never popping into existence doesn't make any sense. When people say this sort of thing, they tend then to say, and there are an infinite number of universes because they've all popped into existence in the same way.
And if you have an infinite amount of time, you'll have an infinite amount of universes, even if there are trillions and trillions of years between these popping events.
Yeah, there would be a problem here. Some people would say time doesn't make sense unless there's a universe. Mm-hmm. But I myself can find no particular problem in imagining time as ticking away even if there's nothing there. Those would be the reasons why somebody like Hawking said in his book, The Grand Design, that the laws of physics are able to explain why there's a universe. He actually went further than that and said, we can, as physicists, say that there'd be the laws of logic explaining why there's a universe, and that may be going a bit too far. Mm.
What's your evaluation of that? Because certainly if you start with the laws of physics and quantum mechanics, everything follows. And if universes pop into existence every 1 to the 100th years, in our terms, that's no big deal. Everything follows. The problem is getting those laws of physics, which are very specific. Even if there's very simple laws underneath, that the laws of physics are very, very well crafted. And that if that's how you generate chance, that's fine. But where do those laws of physics come from?
Well, basically, I agree with you, but some people would say that if you tried describing a universe obeying different laws of physics, you'd very soon fall into contradictions. And they have to be taken seriously. Some people wouldn't agree with you saying there's no problem getting from quantum mechanics to this universe creation mechanism, because they'd say quantum mechanics only applies once you have a universe. That the laws of physics demand that there actually be a universe before the laws of physics can operate. Other people say that it just makes no sense at all to think of laws of physics as being there if you have an empty situation.
So, what's your view of the overarching approach of physicists who say the universe, this world, everything that exists is really a chance fluctuation?
I think it's simply wrong. I think it doesn't stand up to examination, but it's terribly hard to prove it's wrong without going into very complicated arguments. I'm more interested in the philosophers who've suggested that there's some chance element in the existence of a universe. And one of the most interesting arguments that I've come across was developed by Derek Parfit, who said, well, reality has to be somehow either empty or not, either law-abiding or not, and it could be that absolutely nothing selected it, nothing necessitated it being one way or the other. But even if nothing selected it, since it had to be somehow, it would be that how. And another way of putting it is to say chance fixed what it would be like.
Because something, it had to be like something.
Or nothing has to be like nothing. But either you have a blank which is like nothing at all, or you have something. Logic requires that one or the other of these things be the case.
And it may, but it may not make
may have had no reason for it at all. Then there's another interesting argument from Peter van Inwagen and earlier Robert Nozick, that there's only one way of there being nothing. Infinitely many ways of there being something, and therefore nothingness is infinitely improbable.
That assumes, of course, that the prior, a priori probability of nothing is equal to all those other somethings. That's not obvious to me.
It's not obvious to me either, but Van Inwagen has an interesting backup argument, which goes like this, that if the probabilities were different for the various possibilities, who fixed the difference? And granted, he says that there'd be no selection machine which could fix the difference. They must be equally probable.
So as you look at the totality here of the physicist's argument towards chance by the laws of quantum physics and the philosopher's use of chance, does it begin to have some robustness as a real explanation? I'd be personally very disappointed if chance were the answer, but hey, my personal well-being is I'm sure not very important in the great scheme of things.
I think one reason for thinking that chance isn't responsible is to look at the degree of order that the universe has. If you had a universe which was picked by chance among all the possibilities, surely it would be completely disorderly, because there's so many ways of a universe possibly being disorderly, and compared with few ways of it being orderly. Now, there are technical problems here, because you could say there's infinitely many ways of its being orderly, infinitely many ways of its being disorderly. And some people say that all infinities are equally important. I think that's wrong. I think you can give technical arguments to show that even in fields of infinity, some infinities are more important than others. And you can say that given any orderly universe, you can imagine little miracles taking place at any moment. And the number of universes in which the little miracles take place outweighs the number of orderly universes. So there are interesting reasons for thinking that the universe might exist just as a matter of chance. I find them dissatisfying. You find them dissatisfying, but it's very hard to show that they really are dissatisfying.